When you're busy running a business, the last thing you can afford is to be distracted, frustrated, or weighed down by loops of self talk. When this happens, your focus takes a nosedive, it drains your energy, you're less productive, and making clear decisions does not exist in that space. If you've ever felt like your most self sabotaging, self defeating, or draining patterns affect your productivity and focus in business and are hard to unravel, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to show you a simple strategy to break free of the patterns caused by even the most unconscious self talk by identifying places that you've been getting stuck in business that can be hard to see when you are busy juggling balls and leading your team or clients. This strategy will help you unravel what's in the way so that you can stay focused for longer periods of time and grow your business with more efficiency, productivity, clarity, and trust. I've used the same simple process I am about to show you with my students, and it has worked for every single one of them. In fact, this process is so simple and effective that the very next day after I originally taught it to my students, they were teaching it to their colleagues and team members. So if that sounds good to you, give this video a like and be sure to subscribe for new videos every week. I am Jordanna Eyre, Chief Sorceress of Life and Business at Spiral Growth Systems. I teach emotionally intelligent business leaders how to dissolve barriers preventing impact and fulfillment, to unlock authentic power and unique wisdom in their business and relationships, using a proven framework powered by the Fibonacci sequence. It's what I do and what I've been doing for a long time. If you're serious about your growth in business and leadership, then you'll love my free training. There's a link below in the description to grab this training where I'll walk you through a framework that is a lot deeper than coaching or traditional leadership development of how to get your unconscious layers, i.e., ego, out of the way to be a better leader without endless personal growth work or needing someone else to guide you. So go ahead, grab that training, and then, of course, come right back to this video. Today, we're working with one of the key leadership accelerators from my signature framework, and it is called Sharpen Self-Talk. Now, I'm going to warn you, if you don't watch through to the end when I break down the process and the examples, then it'll be much harder to find a way out of your loops, and they will keep manifesting in your business and relationships. So be sure to stay all the way through so that you can start putting this to use. Let's jump in. I am going to be drawing here, so you're welcome to follow along or grab a pen and paper and make your own chart. We are going to focus primarily on distraction today because it's one of the hardest areas of unconscious self-talk for leaders to identify the cause of. Now, I want you to think for a moment about how, where, when you experience distraction. Now, if you don't struggle with distraction, it could be lack of confidence, feelings of self-doubt, frustration with others, or any friction inside of or around you. Now, self-talk manifests in 4 primary ways. We have mental, emotional, physical, and existential. Mental is unsupportive thoughts, subtle doubts or fears, and the countless protection mechanisms that the mind has to stay stuck on perception or circumstance. Emotional is the energetic manifestation of the feeling inside of you, either stagnant or flowing. So for today's purposes, it can be feelings as well as any emotion on the emotional spectrum. Physical is how something manifests in your body, such as physical pain, illness, numbness, or a physical response such as fight or flight. Physical is also how something manifests outside of you in your relationships or circumstances. An existential is any form of feeling, perspective, or question, like deep question related to your existence, your value, or your purpose, your relationship with the world, or your relationship with Source, God, universe, whatever you call that bigger energy. I'm going to share a few different examples so that you can see how the patterns develop. It becomes a lot clearer once you've seen at least a couple of examples. So we start by going to what is the most noticeable or easiest to observe about how or where self-talk is affecting us. So let's say that your distraction begins in the mental space with noticeable thoughts of overwhelm. Maybe you have too many plates spinning in the air and your thoughts are just wound up in all you have going on. At another point in the day, you may notice that you're feeling angry or frustrated with yourself for not getting as much done as you'd like. And maybe you've had gut issues, like your gut is stopped up and you don't know why. Let's say that you've also been having thoughts and feelings. Maybe you're asking yourself, what's even the point? So as you can see here, one of these elements led to the other. You might be so busy throughout the day that it's just hard to notice their intersections and what's creating into the next challenge and the next and the next. And if you keep letting it all play out without getting to the core cause, you'll notice that it keeps going around in a loop. You're frequently overwhelmed. You get angry or frustrated with yourself for all that you have going on and your inability to get it all done. Then your gut issues just come and go, and you frequently wonder, what's even the point? So before we go into how to unravel the loop, let's look at another example. Let's say that you accidentally took a physical action in your business without thinking. Like maybe you send out a proposal without proofreading it and it's too late and there is nothing you can do. So maybe you start to feel anxious or fearful. Then you have thoughts of urgency, like you keep thinking that there's not enough time because you're playing into your mistake and making it worse. And maybe you start to feel like you're losing sight of your identity through all of this urgency. Now, notice how one thing perpetuates the other and it creates the next, and so on. It would be easy to think that the initial behavior or circumstance, or even just the circumstance of having a lot on your plate, is what catalyzed the rest. But if we look at it that way, we're not seeing the underlying cause. Our physical circumstances are connected on a deep metaphysical level to what is going on inside of us. So when you look closer, you'll notice that the perception of urgency caused the fear and anxiety, causing poor decision making. But when you weave in losing sight of your identity, you may even discover that it was losing sight of yourself and the truth inside of you that catalyzed the rest of the process. Now, to unravel your loops, you're going to have to be honest with yourself. And I mean, really honest with yourself. Honesty is both in how you feel and what you experience, as well as the toll it takes on your business. In fact, let's start with some honesty in the comments. Which of the 4 quadrants do you most frequently notice first? When you lose focus, do you notice your thoughts, a physical reaction, emotional, or existential? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, before we go into how to unravel these loops, I want to share one last example because what I am about to show you can be the hardest to diagnose. And that is what to do when the first thing you notice is existential angst. Without this quadrant, you'll be skipping the necessary unraveling of a crucial part of your self-talk loops. And you'll be left thinking that you're doing your inner work when really you've been avoiding unknowingly much of the deepest part, creating the loop. This is common because we have been conditioned to avoid the existential. Emotions like fear, anger, and grief can be very challenging for many people to feel, especially the deeper, more existential roots inside of them. Even those who consider themselves deep feelers often still struggle with really letting themselves move all the way through these basic, primary emotions. When we don't move all the way through these primary emotions, it affects our relationship with Source, Universe, God, whatever you call that energy. A society of manipulation to be a certain way has conditioned people to resist, avoid, repress, and even suppress their deepest existential questions and the pain that can come alongside those questions. And when we don't unravel the pain, we don't break free of it, so it stays stuck, buried down. If you want to break free of your self-talk loops, exploring this quadrant is a must. Quick reminder, existential angst can be anything from feeling like your identity is dying off to pondering big questions, all the way to depression, apathy, lack of motivation, or dissociation. But it also affects your decision making, your ability to see into the future that you wish to create, which hinders your ability to co-create it, and so much more. Frequently, when existential angst is what you first notice, it can be hard to see the other things. But here it becomes simple. So let's say that the first thing you notice is that you're feeling sad about the state of the world. Maybe your thoughts go towards frustration because it's distracting your workflow. And when you try to work, you feel sluggish, almost like there's a white noise in your body. And then you keep looping back and feeling more sadness about the state of the world. This example helps to illustrate the connection between the emotional and the existential. Chances are the thoughts that you're having about the state of the world come from unprocessed emotion, leading to the rest of the loop. Now, all of these examples are just that, examples. Your loops are going to be their own thing. However, they're likely to follow the same main principles. Okay, now that you can identify what these loops look like, what do you need to get out of them? And there are 2 primary keys to breaking free of the loops, but first, here's what not to do. The surefire way not to break free of your loops is to focus on the mental aspects first. Though positive thinking is helpful when done in a very specific way, going straight to it is a bypassing mechanism that can cause your self-talk loops to perpetuate, maybe even get worse. The conscious mind is wired to make meaning, and the meaning it attempts to make is based on protection mechanisms or perception of past experiences or fear-based thoughts. Even thoughts about intuition or thoughts about feelings are still making meaning about intuition and feelings. And making meaning is the mind saying what it thinks it knows, rather than helping you get to the unconscious layers of what is truly present in your inner landscape. Now, quick disclaimer, there are some types of thoughts that you can use to break free of your self-talk loops. However, the type of thought to do this is one that takes training to be able to really access and work with. It is something I teach in Spiral Leadership Academy, but for now, let's stay focused on where you need to start. Bottom line, the mental aspect is an important aspect of identifying the loop, but not of unraveling it. Now, the existential area can help you break free of the loop, but this also takes training to be able to get to. And even if you can already get there, it takes more training to utilize when you're focused on running a business. There are two areas that without a doubt will help you break free of the loop: the physical and the emotional. Most importantly, you need both to unravel your self-talk loops. You may be able to go straight to your feelings and let them flow, alchemize, and integrate. If you already know how to do this, use it as an instant key to unravel the rest of the loop. And if you don't know how to do this, your body holds the answers. This is 3 core components. 1, it's about developing a deep cellular connection in which you feel your skin, your bones, your energy centers, and that you're in your body and your awareness of it in all moments. It's like having all 30 trillion cells in your body lit up with ancient wisdom that guides you to use it in practical ways. 2, it's about feeling supported by your body so that you can feel supported by life. This is actually a practice and a process, and it is a huge game changer for running and growing a business. 3, it's about having access to the most subtle awareness in your body, sensations, and thoughts so that you can work with all forms of nuance, feeling, and emotion. When you live in your body with all 3, the emotional elements will click and it'll become significantly easier to unloop the rest as well. It is all energy, and the built up loops of energy in your consciousness, your behaviors, habits, and where they've been ingrained in your business or relationships can dissolve when you train your body and emotional landscape to process the energy. Sharpening self-talk is one of the 9 key elements you need for effective leadership. These 9 elements are what I call the Spiral Leadership Accelerators. To learn more about the entire nonlinear framework, you can go to the link for the training in the comments below, and I will walk you through how to use it to get the ego out of the way to be a more effective leader so that you can find a sweet spot between impact and fulfillment. By the way, comments make me do a happy dance. So if you got value from this, I would love to know in the comments what your light bulb moments were. Like and subscribe for new content coming out weekly, which also helps the YouTube fairies show my videos to more people who need them. And share this with someone you think would be helpful to. Jordanna, Eyre, Chief Sorceress of Spiral Growth Systems, over and out. I'll see you in the next one.